Okay, awesome. Welcome everybody. I am Amy Boyd. I am a health coach and I'm a mum. And I am super passionate about sharing wellness with families. So anybody that lives and breathes, I want to help you get the best out of life. And Buffy Gill here, my little mate in the corner. Where are you? Why can't I see you?
If I talk, I think I go live.
Oh, there she is. Look how pretty she is. Buffy Gill is a very well-studied naturopath, nutritionist or dietitian? Nutritionist, mummy of 2 and beautiful soon-to-be wife of Tony. No, she's like, no, I'm not. No. And Buffy and I work together to help beautiful humans like you do the best in life. And we just thought it would be super topical tonight to talk about immune health and stress. Because even though I've got my oils going and all the things, there's still a little underlying panic button going on. So I'm sure you guys, even though you're all oiled up and you're all looking after yourself as well as possible, I'm sure that there's some things that we can tweak. So we're going to go through quite a few different things that we can do to help with our immunity and our immune function. So everything from the way that we can use and enhance the essential oils that we're using to really help with boosting our immunity and keeping us really well and preparing us for the winter ahead. How we can look after our kids and our loved ones, our spouses, and our friends with the essential oils. What really awesome foods we can get in during this time, and the supplements that we can use, and why. So it's not just, hey, do all these things, it's why do we need to do them? And we might not need to work on all of the things, but you might go, oh, that oregano oil, yes, I can reach for that when I'm not well. So we don't need to or expect you to be doing all of the things all of the time, but just really starting to understand how to use these beautiful tools so that when things pop up for you, or if you're thinking about really preparing for this time, to put a few things into your day. And we've also got some herbs that Buffy's going to talk about. She's really passionate about herbs, and she is just launching her vegan cooking school this week, which is super exciting. And I am going to do a guest appearance at some stage, Buffy Gill, just letting you know. But so excited about that. And I'm a massive advocate for eating more plant-based food, not just from the I guess environmental or the animal protection, although I'm into that as well. But for me personally, it's been a real massive shift in my gut health, which has really impacted my mental health. And that's what I'm really most passionate about, is helping humans understand their mind and function the best with their body and their mind together. The other thing that we're going to just sort of go through at the end or throughout a little bit is just putting some daily practices in to improve our stress levels, and also just to incorporate these things into our life. So not trying to do it all at once, but just slowly putting these beautiful little rituals into our life so it becomes who we are. Not just if we get sick, this is what we do. This is what we're doing all the time to be really proactive about our health and really look after ourselves. So I hope you get something out of tonight. And what I'm going to do is, when Buffy's talking, I'm going to mute myself, but I'll be here on chat. So if you have any questions throughout, just talk to us in the chat. This is going to be really interactive. It's not just us preaching to probably the already converted. It's us trying to really give you guys some of what we already have, you know, all the knowledge that we have, but also we know that you guys have got a lot of goodness as well. So please interject as you wish. But because it's being recorded, just do it silently via the chat button, please. And at the end, we'll turn you all on and we'll just have a big woman and one man chat. So, Buffy, Gill, would you like to introduce this chat?
I would love to. Okay, so thank you everyone for dialing in, and I'm really excited about these two topics right now because they are so relevant and they time really nicely. And I've written myself a whole bunch of notes here. So Amy's already put her hand up to say she'll tell me to stop talking when I've gone too far, which will happen. But no, there's so much to talk about with immunity and stress, but also how they link in together. It's actually, I wrote the notes on what I would recommend someone to boost their immune system, from oils, supplements, herbs, food, and other lifestyle changes. And then I wrote the list of what I would recommend someone for stress. And there is so much crossover that my stress list was actually really, really short because so many of the things are already ticked off from what you're doing to boost your immunity. So the topics are going to work really nicely in conjunction with each other. And as Amy said, this is topical now, right? So really nice for me now because people are actually listening, are interested in health and looking out for their health, whereas oftentimes it is lower priority on lots of people's lists, probably not on your list. But for lots of people out there, it is lower priority. So I think it's an exciting time at the moment that health, natural health, and supporting yourself, supporting your family, supporting our communities is a little bit more front of mind. So we're just going to run this as a bit of a sort of a throwback conversation Q&A between Amy and myself because we like to chat together. So maybe what I'll do is just start off with the immunity side and talk about the top oils that I would recommend, because I think everyone here, everyone in the house live, has already got oils, but there might be some people watching this afterwards that don't. And so what I'm going to try and focus on is on some of the more common ones that you probably do have already. We want to make sure you're making the most and getting the most benefit out of the ones you already do have. And then there's a few others specific to immunity and stress, which we'll cover as well. So rolling on through, guess what is number one oil for looking after your immune system? Okay, OG. Ingrid's doing a big OG. And that's it, right? So On Guard, which if you haven't used On Guard or you're watching and you don't know what on earth that means, it's basically just a proprietary blend of plants, all shown to boost the immune system. So we've got things like wild orange, eucalyptus, rosemary, clove, and cinnamon. So all really high in antibacterial properties, which means they are great for making your own hand sanitizers, hand soaps, cleaning concentrates, laundry type thing. But that also means that they're really good for boosting our immune system and almost creating like a protective barrier. So I did actually write a blog post on this last week, which some of you might have seen or read. And if not, we're going to put those notes and send those notes to you or send that link to you. So there's a bunch of different ideas in there about exactly how I am using On Guard at the moment. I mentioned a few of those. I use it particularly at the moment in using the toothpaste. So toothpaste infused with those oils, and also using a mouthwash with that blend in it. And I'm also adding to it peppermint and oregano, peppermint because of the cleansing properties, but also oregano because that adds antiviral properties as well. Have you got any other points on Guard, Amy, that you, in terms of how you love to use it?
I think just with On Guard and all of the oils, it's little and often. So having it in our hand sanitizer, in our toothpaste, you know, putting a little bit in the diffuser every day, it really adds to just boosting our immunity all the time rather than just waiting until we get sick. The next oil we're going to talk about is frankincense. So this one here is one of my absolute must-have all the time oils. And I I use it really, I mean, obviously physically it's like the absolute king of oils. But for me, I notice that my health physically deteriorates when my mind deteriorates. So if I'm feeling stressed out, it's when I start getting a runny nose or a sore throat. So it's really important to me, and I'm very aware of that brain body communication, and frankincense really just brings me down to earth. So I use it a lot. So in the morning I wake up, brush my teeth, and beside my toothbrush in my bathroom I have a bottle of frankincense and a bottle of copaiba, and I literally just put a drop underneath my tongue, like this, after I've brushed my teeth. So that just means it gets straight into the blood system and starts working all of its magic. But it also, like it is a tree, so frankincense is grown from and distilled from the resin of the tree that has a very deep root system. It makes me feel very grounded and deep rooted, and because of that, it almost changes the whole energy in my body. And when your body's energy is well aligned, and your mind is functioning well, every cell in your body is going to be happy and you're not going to get sick. So I'm sure there's a massive scientific background that I could go into about this, but I'm just going to stop with that. Frankincense makes you feel good, makes you feel grounded, and that's really going to help with your stress levels and your immune function. So the ways that I can use that is under the tongue. I also have it in my facial serum that I put on at night before I go to bed. I love having it as a stress booster in the diffuser. So a few drops of frankincense and a few drops of lavender. Yes, Ingrid, it is definitely a hug in a bottle. Lavender and frankincense combined is like my little tool bag, like my little boyfriend. That keeps me grounded and calm and sane and keeps me at the level that I want to be at. So Buffy Gill.
Yeah, with Frank's actually an interesting one where initially I was using it probably for a year and a half, just thinking about the anti-inflammatory properties and therefore in terms of our mind, how it can reduce stress, make us feel anxious, etc. And it's only really been in the last few months that I've started reading up on its immune modulating properties. So that is another reason why, if you look up the research on, you can find it on the net. There's a lot of there's one particular website that I really enjoy, which is PubMed. Got a lot of scientific research articles up there. But if you just search frankincense or boswellia, which is the Latin name, and then you can search all sorts of chronic diseases, things like cancer, brain tumors, etc. Read the research for yourself there. But essentially, it's those immune modulating properties which have shown that particular plant to have beneficial effects in those conditions. So again, when we're talking about immunity and stress, frankincense it's a double whammy for sure. And the next oil that we're going to talk about is lemon. So lemon is great because it's cheap. It's probably the cheapest oil. So you want to find lots of uses for lemon, so that you can really draw on those more affordable oils. They're more affordable and they're also more sustainable in terms of we can get lots of lemons. We can grow lots of lemons. There are some other plants which are much rarer, and those are the plants that we want to be a bit more sensitive and gentle with in terms of our own personal usage. Lemon is one you can go wild with. Now, lemon is also an antibacterial, it's an antioxidant. It also actually reduces mucus. So what we have found with coronavirus, and also with the common cold and the common flu, is that, especially with COVID though, what it does is actually lines the respiratory tract with a lot of mucus. And this is why it's causing issues in the elderly population. So generally it's over 80s, like in Italy, it's certainly been the majority of people that have passed away from coronavirus have been over 80. It's people who have smoked, okay? So China and Italy are the first two big countries that got hit really hard. They have a very, very high proportion of the society smokes. They have a high proportion of people that are elderly. And what lemon does, along with some other plants we're going to talk about, is actually reduces mucus. So if someone does get a flu or a virus like that and has got mucus in their throat, then we want to try and clear that so that they can comfortably breathe. So diffusing lemon, again, along with a couple of other plants we're going to talk about, is going to be really good for reducing mucus in the respiratory tract. The other thing that I do, the other way that I love using our lemon oil, and this can reduce stress, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not making them, but eating them definitely can, is using it in your cooking. So there's a handful of recipes that I can share with you that I love using the lemon oil for. It just adds a real power punch to your cooking and your flavoring. Lemon's really good for detoxifying the body, detoxifying the liver, helping the liver to function at its best. And this is really important for keeping our immune system strong as well. But you can have fun with this one. So I add lemon oil to my dressings a lot. I add it when I make a creamy cashew aioli. I always add lemon oil now. I used to just add lemon juice and zest. Now I do juice, zest, and oil, and it's like flavor explosion. And then there's some other easy recipes you can make, like little lemon cashew bliss balls, but they're going to be, they taste delicious, but also you're getting those extra protective benefits in terms of liver cleansing, and also as an antioxidant, antibacterial.
Nice. The next one that I love, I don't love the taste of it, but I love the antiviral effects of it. And I love to add, so this is oregano oil. I love to add it to the top, the ones that we've already spoken to. So frankincense, lemon, on guard, and oregano together is our flu mix, FLOO. And this is what we use if we're starting to feel a tickle in our throat, or we're just starting to get under the weather. So I just make up, where is my little spray? I feel a little human has come and stolen it. Anyway, a little bottle like that, and I put in about 10 drops of each and top it up with water. And anytime I'm feeling a little under the weather, or I've actually had a really horrendous sore throat for the last couple of weeks, like dying, and as soon as I spray it with this, it instantly goes away. And I haven't got sick. Normally if I get a sore throat like that, I know that it's going to drop down into my chest and I'm going to start getting really unwell, but I haven't. I've been able to completely get rid of it just by spraying this in my throat a few times a day, or every time that it feels quite harsh. And I just want to track back to Buffy's oil, which was lemon oil, is that lemon oil is a great way to stay really hydrated through this time, and any time that we're thinking about boosting our immune system, we really need to be conscious about how much water we're taking in, because the water and our hydration levels really helps with flushing out any toxins in our body, really helping our immunity and all of our systems in our body function at their top notch. So I love using that one. Oregano is can also just be used in a rollable. So I'll get a rollable like this, put about 20 to 30 drops of the oregano and top it up with fractionated coconut oil, and roll it on the bottom of my feet if I'm feeling unwell as well. Or if I just want to make sure that I don't get sick, because who has time to be sick? Just imagine being at home with 3 kids running like crazy, and my partner working full-time and running a business, and me running my business. There is no time in this world for sickness, my friends. So I have been spraying my throat, I've been rolling my feet, and I think today is the first day that I've felt like amazing, and just I know that I'm not going to get sick now, because I've been putting all of these practices in place. So what's our next oil, Buffy?
So next one is tea tree. And can I also just reiterate that oregano on guard throat spray? If that's a little recipe you haven't yet made up, it is definitely probably one of my top 5 things to do. A, because it will take you about 10 seconds. Water a drop of oregano, a drop of On Guard. And I have to say, I've probably had about, I would say, in excess of 30 people now say to me that they've made that particular blend, sprayed it in the back of their throat when they feel that little tickle occurring, and then woke up the next morning and it's gone. So really do recommend making that one up. These are all recipes as well that we do share a lot during our oil camp. So if that's that's our online coaching program that we just do for members. So if that's something that you haven't yet participated in, then let us know and we can send you the link to register for our next one, which is starting in about a week and a half's time.
13th of April.
Yes. So the next oil for immunity is tea tree. And this is actually one that you can even add to your FLOO blend. So you can almost make it flute if you want to. You don't want to put it in the mouth, tea tree, but if you're putting it in a roller or putting it in the diffuser, then you can use it. It's, again, antibacterial, it's antiviral. Those are the two things at the moment we're really wanting antiviral activity, right? Because coronavirus is a virus, so it operates differently to a bacteria. But it also is a really good decongestant, tea tree. So remember, which is our other decongestant so far? Lemon. So even just putting lemon and tea tree, plain old lemon and tea tree, really, really affordable oils, into the diffuser at night or into a roller and putting it on the chest and on the back is going to reduce congestion in someone that has got a cold or a flu or a virus.
I love adding peppermint to that as well. So lemon, tea tree and peppermint together in the diffuser is so good, especially for people that are quite prone to snoring or just having sniffly nasal passage areas in general. That's a great little one to use at any time of the year as well.
Yeah, totally. And that actually brings us to the next one, which is easy air. So in terms of decongestion, you can make your own little decongestion blend of pep, tea tree, lemon, or you could use easy air, or you could actually just combine all four if you wanted. And so easy air, again, it's just a blend of plants together. It's got peppermint, eucalyptus, tea tree, lemon, right? So it's really actually good for you to start getting your oils and actually look at what's in them, because you'll start to learn about the different properties. Lo and behold, easy air contains peppermint, tea tree and lemon, along with eucalyptus. It's another single oil that I'd probably be acquiring right now is just eucalyptus. Cardamom, Ravensara, and laurel. You can't actually get them as singles, but you can certainly get eucalyptus. And again, this common symptom of colds, flus, and viruses being congestion, coughing, constricted breathing, and so diffusing easy air, all those other 4 oils, putting it into a roller, super beneficial. The other way that you can use these oils, particularly easy air because it's already ready blended, is actually doing like a shower inhalation. So if you are feeling congested, it's often stronger in the morning. You know, when you wake up and you're kind of, oh gosh, I feel terrible, can't breathe. That's the time when you want to jump out of bed, go straight in the shower, actually have a hot shower. So I'm a big proponent for cold showers. But if you are congested, a hot shower. And before you do, put 1 or 2 drops of your easy air blend into the corner of the shower. And what it will actually do is it's almost like it's a steam inhalation. The hot water and the inhalation from the oils will help to clear the respiratory tract.
Yeah, and I love the fact with these oils that they're not just for the physical component, they're also the emotional component. So if you think about what that's doing to you physically, yes, it's clearing everything, but it's really helping you breathe deeply. And when we breathe deeply, when we belly breathe, it really changes the way that we are, every cell in our body's functioning, but also how our brain is functioning. And if we can get really good breathing done throughout the day and really focus on that deep belly breath, we can actually really keep our minds well and our bodies well through this as well. And when you've got little children or people in your life that you're giving a lot to, you often forget about giving back to yourself. So locking yourself in the shower room, it's often the only time that you'll ever get a second. So do it. Take those few minutes and really breathe deeply. So there are some apps that you can get to help you with your breathing. I did a really awesome little lounge room retreat last weekend with Brian Berneman. who is a meditation and yoga guru. So in the Essentialist, you can look at that YouTube as well and follow along some of his breathing techniques. But there are some amazing, there are some really amazing breathing apps that you can use, and meditation apps. So I encourage you to get into that. While we're in lockdown, there is literally no excuse than to look after yourself. This is the time that we've been given to reset and repurpose our lives and sort of set an intention of how we want our futures to be. So as much as everybody's whinging about not being able to go to McDonald's, we can really take this time to learn how to breathe properly, to become more conscious of movement, to be really, intentional about cooking and slowing down and preparing our food and even chewing our food better. So that's where we can use these oils as little trigger points in our lives to set those intentions and to make us remember. So if you leave a little bottle of Easy Air in your shower, you're going to remember that. You're not going to look at it. You're going to go, oh, that's what that's for. I'm going to take some deep breaths and really set an intention for the day. And it's the same as with your lemon water in the morning. So I always have a bottle of lemon oil in my kitchen beside my water filter. So every time I have a glass of water, I have a drop of lemon, and I can help with that detoxification process. So yeah, that's a little tip from me, is keeping your oils where they're going to be used, not in a friggin' box. Please. Buffy, talk about...
Can I say one more point on the meditation there?
Yes, please.
It is definitely one of the other tips for both immunity and stress. I've actually been using a really great app called One Great Mind, very recently. That's like 12 days to teach you how to meditate. It's sort of 10-15 minutes a day for 12 days, free. Actually, one of our community suggested it to me, Kirsten. So I've been doing that. I also have a really good friend of mine, Claire Robbie, at the moment. She is doing a live meditation every night on Instagram at 7 p.m. 15-20 minutes. It's free. It's just something she's doing for our community at the moment. So if you've never meditated,
what's Claire's Instagram?
At Claire Robbies.
CLAIREROBBIE.
Yeah, and she's great. She does meditation courses normally, which are hundreds of dollars. So this is a way you can actually just jump online at 7 o'clock, obviously not tonight, but and do a meditation with her. So that's another little tip there.
That's awesome. Can you tell us the scientific basis for copaiba? Because I know that I use it for the most amazing things. I know that it makes me feel good. It makes me feel balanced. It makes me feel a little bit mellow. But tell me about the science behind it.
I would love to. So copaiba, it's quite a new discovery in the sort of herbal medicine world. But the reason that people are so excited about it is that it's showing similar properties to medicinal cannabis or CBD oil, which some of you may have heard of. And so it's being used in very, very similar ways to CBD oil. CBD oil is being used for things like pain, nerve pain, depression, as a real healing agent, and also for autism, ADHD type individuals or type conditions. And copaiba has very, very similar properties in terms of attaching to the cannabinoid receptors in the same way that cannabis does, but it doesn't have any of the hallucinogenic components to it. Sorry. But what that means is it's completely legal. There's no issues around like legality of it or the THC component. And actually, we're really, really lucky because in New Zealand we can get it both in the oil form and also in the soft gel form. So when I talk about soft gels, it just means it's already in a little capsule with the oil inside it. That's exactly what they look like, what Amy's got up there. And what that means is when we take those through the mouth, they're all stuck together. When we take those in the mouth, the veggie cap means that the oil is actually able to, instead of being absorbed around the mouth area, get right down into the gastrointestinal tract and be absorbed there. And as we know, if you came to our workshop yesterday on gut health, our gut is the core of our immunity. So if we can release herbs down into our gut, we can actually get often a much greater effect. So copaiba, it's being used for, as I said, depressed feelings, anxious feelings, stressful feelings. So one of our topics tonight, but also for like immune compromised individuals. So again, it's sort of similar to frankincense in a way. It's a lot more affordable than frankincense, which is nice. And so I use copaiba a lot now as a alternative or in conjunction with frankincense. So often with someone, I'll say, well, let's try frankincense, and then let's also try copaiba and use those two together. In terms of how to use it, very similar to frankincense. Drop in the roof of the mouth, in the diffuser, in a roller, applied topically. Or also you can get the soft gels from New Zealand, just from on your regular New Zealand order, and take those by the mouth. I would say 1 to 2 per day. I've actually used copaiba really successfully for sleep too.
Yeah, so have I, and I actually find that it's a lot more calming and relaxing than frankincense. For me, because I take frankincense in the morning as well, it's actually quite spiky. And I tried to put frankincense and lavender in my diffuser the other night, and I was like, oof, this is a bit intense. So I just added a couple of drops of copaiba, and that just really helped like cool it down and calm it. And also with children, often the frankincense is quite strong for them. Like if you put it on their skin directly, it's quite hot. Whereas copaiba, like if my kids are freaking out, I literally just tip some on their head and they just chill out. So, and my baby literally comes up to me and is like, when he sees me with it, he wants it. Like it's so cool and so calming and so safe that copaiba is an oil that I just could not live without. Yeah.
I did actually just yesterday. I tried to film it for Instagram, but I didn't quite capture it. But I heard this, and I was like, "What is that?" And Torrin comes around the corner. I don't know if you guys can see me. He comes around the corner and he's got a bottle. It was empty and it was lavender, right? But it still had quite a lot of smell. And he was like this. So, be careful what you do in front of young people because they copy you. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm not snorting anything else these days. It's just oils.
Oh, okay.
While we're talking about the digestion, I want to throw in one of my favorite oils, which is DigestZen.
Mm.
So DigestZen is our internal blend, and it's got everything in it that a digestive tea would have in it. It's just way stronger. So anise, peppermint, ginger, caraway, coriander, tarragon, and fennel. And yeah, just beautiful, beautiful calming. So if you are experiencing any sort of digestive issues, that's really, hey Catherine, that is really going to take a toll on your mental health and your physical health. So the DigestZen is actually going to really just calm any of those symptoms. So if you're feeling stressed, often you will get a feeling like a pit in your stomach or a churning stomach, or you'll get that indigestion feeling. Then you can use this. I just use it like a tea. So I'll just do a warm cup of water and I'll put 1 drop of DigestZen in and sip away at it. And that's going to calm every part of my digestive tract. So we talked a lot about gut health yesterday, so I'm not going to go massively into that, but I'd love if you guys could go and watch that video about gut health, because our brain-gut connection is so strong and it's so important for us to look after our gut health at this time. So a few points to focus on here would be stripping or weeding your garden. So getting rid of all the toxins in your home, getting rid of any toxic food that you've got. So inflammatory food would be processed foods, foods high in sugar, starchy foods, any foods that have got food coloring please do not eat them at this time. Just look after your body. So weeding out those baddies, and then putting in the good stuff. So probiotics, digesting to really help calm, putting in things, fermented foods. So really focusing on a plant-based diet at this time. So, you know, yes, some people thrive with animal-based protein, but at this time, it's really important to reduce anything inflammatory, and a lot of food. Animal-based protein is highly inflammatory in your body. So what we're trying to do is really reduce that inflammation. So increasing things that are going to hello that are going to really nourish your gut. So think lots of veggies, lots of colored vegetables, getting in a lot of flavors. So garlic, onions, turmeric, spices, all of those delicious things. And really then focusing on also now replanting the garden. So replanting, putting that good bacteria back into the garden. So focusing on some really good quality probiotics. Obviously the doTERRA ones are amazing, like all of our products, but also looking at things like kombucha as an alternative to alcohol and sweetened drinks at this time. Really a beautiful way to give yourself a little treat, but also you're putting good stuff in and you're taking away those baddies that are really detrimental to our health at this stage. Also focusing on eating a rainbow of food. So the more variety that we have in our diet or with our vegetables and fruits, the more good or variety of bacteria that we're going to be putting into our gut, and that's so important to help feed the good bacteria and weed out the bad bacteria. The other thing I would like to talk about is eating lots of fruit at this stage. So we need to really increase our vitamin A and C. So getting lots of citrus fruits in, etc., is really important. And just, I think, like, this world was made the way it is for a reason. At the moment, what's growing on the trees? Eat that. What's growing in the ground? Eat that. So just focusing on eating seasonally and eating locally. So I love to order a food box from a company called Kaibox, and they deliver seasonal local produce. If I could, I'd love to go to a farmer's market right now, but I can't. But just really thinking about all the time eating seasonally and eating locally is really what's going to help. Really going to help with improving our gut health. We've got friends called Batchwell who make the most beautiful kombucha that Buffy's put a little link in the comments in the chat, and she actually has a little referral code that you write in. So write "be good" and you get 10% off that. So I don't want to preach, but I'm just going to put it out there. All of those people sitting at home feeling sorry for themselves, drinking 2 bottles of wine each night, probably will get sick. The ones that sit at home and they do maybe an evening meditation and they have a glass of kombucha and they go to bed early, you're going to be fine. So since I stopped drinking about 2.5 years ago, I don't get sick anymore. And it's because my gut health has got so much better. So if you are eating well, you're moving, you're supplementing well, but you are smashing back a box of beers each night, you are really, causing major harm to your gut. And it's not just the alcohol, it's also the sugar. So really this is a time that there's no excuse that you have to drink with clients, or you have to be out at the pub to socialize. Like, this is a really great time to have a look at your lifestyle and go, do I want to be thriving when I'm 80 or 90 years old, or do I want to get drunk tonight? That's just me talking to myself, because I need to talk to myself about this quite often. But yeah, I have definitely seen massive improvements in my immunity since I've stopped drinking, and since I've really focused on increasing my fruits, vegetables, supplements, and my probiotics, and fermented foods. So Buff, could you just talk us through a little bit around supplementation here? Because I used to come from the stage of I can eat all of my nutrition, and I was quite anti-supplementation, but Buffy's going to fill us in on why supplementation is actually really important, even if we are amazing healthy eaters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was really the same, Amy. So I went through my whole last year of my naturopathy degree in clinicals and refused to prescribe supplements to clients, because I really felt like everyone else was just shipping out pills to people, and we're trying to get people off pills. We're trying to get people onto, beautiful whole foods diets and getting well from food. And absolutely, food is our medicine. It is the primary medicine. But often what I've since found with clients is that even if they're eating a really great diet, or we move them to a great diet, that often we're deficient in certain minerals, certain nutrients, certain coenzymes, and that can happen because of lifestyle, or what's happened in our history to date. So diet to date, stress, just toxins in our environment, which are pretty hard to avoid. Other than, I was just saying yesterday, and other than right now, when you go for a walk, it's really quite noticeable how clear and the clarity of the air, because we just don't have cars driving on the road to the same extent that we normally do. But normally, every single day, you're breathing in those toxins from petrol fumes. So for all those reasons, also because our food supply is a lot more deficient in minerals and nutrients than it was, say, 50, 60 years ago. And the reason for that, if you're going, well, why is that the case? It's because we monocrop now. So we plant a whole batch of kiwi fruit, and then we clear them, we plant more kiwi fruit, we clear them, we plant more kiwi fruit, we clear them. So even if they're natural and organic, what's going to happen over time is that, because we're not rotating crops on our land, which is what used to happen, is those kiwi fruit, as they progress, are getting less and less of the nutrients which would have been provided by other crops being planted on that land. So monocropping is causing the reduction in nutrients in our food supply, also pesticides. So, which is unfortunately all of the produce you get from, if it's not organic, it means it's had pesticides and sprays put on it. In some countries, those sprays are illegal now, but they're still available in New Zealand and used very widely. So where you can purchase natural and organic, where budget allows.
Can I interject with one little tip here?
Yeah.
If you can't buy due to budget reasons, or just there's actually just nowhere to buy organic food a lot of the time at the moment, just due to lockdown, you can actually wash your food. So there are some things that you just want to completely steer away from, but there are some foods that are okay because they're protected if you wash them properly. So I would just get a couple of drops of On Guard and a couple of drops of lemon in a basin full of water, put a little bit of white vinegar in, and give them a good wash. I also often just put a little pump of the On Guard hand wash in with it, just to give a bit of soapiness instead of the vinegar. You don't want to do both together because it goes all gluggy. I've tried that before too, just don't do that. But yeah, so On Guard and lemon. The lemon will break down like the waxy film on it, and lemon and On Guard together is really antibacterial, antiviral, and will clean off all of that yucky stuff. So yeah, don't feel bad about food. There is a way that you can do better. You don't just have to have organic all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I often will end up shopping at Countdown. Well, lately produce hasn't been available, so I've been shopping a lot at the supermarket, and I'll do exactly what Amy does. We bring them back. As soon as we get back, before I even put it in the fridge, this is how I would recommend to do it. Just pour them all into the sink, put the plug in, pour them all into the sink, fill it up with water. I usually use like a slightly warm water. And then put a couple of drops of lemon, a drop of on garden, not oregano, gosh, well, effective but not so tasty. Including like things like cherry tomatoes. So I've just shared with you 2 links in the chat to the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. You can just Google those, or we can send them out in the email after this as well. They're just a good guide as to, in general, it's based on US produce, but in general, which produce is going to hold more pesticides and which is going to have less. And it's quite intuitive, right? So things that have got a really gentle, soft, thin skin, like cherry tomatoes, grapes, strawberries, blueberries, tomatoes, apples, and we're eating the skin, those are the ones we want to wash. So either we want to buy them organic, or we want to make sure we wash them. Things like bananas, pineapple, avocado, they've got a nice sturdy skin. Oranges, you're not eating the skin, and as a result, the inside of the actual fruit or produce it absorbs a lot less pesticides when they're sprayed on them. So those are the ones you don't have to worry about so much. Incidentally, when we are talking about the organic versus non-organic, the most important thing to buy organic is if you are consuming meat and dairy products. Meat, dairy, and eggs, if you're consuming those type of products, make those ones the first ones that you buy organic, because actually pesticides congregate or hold mostly in adipose tissue, so like the fat tissue of an animal. Mm-hmm. So those are the ones you want to get organic first, and then if the budget still allows, you can carry on, but otherwise just do your washing with the lemon and on go.
Yeah, love it.
So much goodness, ladies. I feel like we could talk for hours. Maybe I just could. This is why Amy's got a boot to kick me with.
Yeah. Can you just quickly run through some of our herbies that are good for boosting our immune system? So things like thyme, rosemary, turmeric, and just kind of explain why we use those and how we use those.
Yeah, so in terms of like cooking herbs, Ax?
Yeah, I mean, I use a lot more actual oils in my cooking these days, just because the herbs that you buy from the supermarket are pretty rubbish. I grew up on a farm, so I'm a little bit of a herb snob. We used to have just like massive gardens full of herbs and vegetables, and now I see what they offer in the supermarket and I'm like, not that great. But
yeah, in terms of foods, like you've already mentioned so many for immunity, but I would say all of the garlic, onion, ginger, turmeric family. And then the herbs that we already talked about, like oregano, thyme, and rosemary are all from a similar family, and they all have antiviral properties. And rosemary in particular is also a really good decongestant. So using those fresh herbs wherever they're available. And even though I cook a lot, I often don't have coriander. Basil evades me. At the moment we've got thyme, we've got rosemary, but a lot of the other ones we don't have. And so again, I use my oils a lot. I actually have a drawer, which some of you will have seen, a drawer with all of my food oils in it. And I actually find that fantastic, because at the end of a recipe, and we always want to add them at the end if possible, because that means we're not going to destroy any of the therapeutic properties, I'll add in a little drop of oregano, a drop of thyme, a drop of rosemary, only one drop of those to a family sized meal, because they are very, very strong. And what that's going to be doing is imparting those immune boosting properties, antiviral, antibacterial, decongestant, all these things we've been talking about, but also powerful flavor, adding super, super powerful flavor to your food. Remember that in a bottle of peppermint oil, we've got, in a drop of peppermint oil, we've got the same amount of peppermint plant that would go into 28 cups of peppermint tea. So it's 7,000 cups of peppermint tea is how much is in a bottle of peppermint oil. Likewise, in our lemon oil, we've got 65 organic Sicilian lemons. So because they are so concentrated, just adding a few drops to your recipe is really going to improve the immune properties of it, but really enhance the flavor too. And that's something that I found really exciting with oils. Plus, it's easy, because if you don't have the fresh herb on hand, boom, you've got the oil and it doesn't go off. And then what you can do is still use your fresh herbs. Certainly, use your fresh herbs, use your dry herbs, but it's particularly fresh. I'm using more as a garnish for color, for texture, flavor, texture, and then using the oil as the flavor punch.
Ingrid has just asked a question of how we use our turmeric oil. I make a lot of the Indian food, so I add it a lot to like curries and stir fries and things like that. And yeah, I put it in at the end of the cooking. So last night I made this beautiful. It was just like a vegan. I did it in the pressure cooker actually, because I didn't have much time. And so I put in some root vegetables, so parsnip, kumara. So those are really nourishing, warming, vegetables that you can have in winter. So at night, if you have those good carbohydrates, they really warm your body and help you have a really deep, beautiful, nourishing sleep. I added coconut cream, and then I put in lots of spices, so like dried spices. But then at the end, I pulled it before I put in the noodles and the eggplant and all of the yummy things with it. I put in some turmeric. I put in some. What oils did I put in there? They're in the kitchen still, so I don't know. Some celery seed. It's such a weird taste, but with the turmeric and all the spices, it was beautiful. And then I put some chili in, so really increasing that heat in your dishes at the moment is really good, but that turmeric oil is super good for reducing inflammation in the body, and warming us up and making us feel really nourished and safe. So a lot of these foods are not only physically good, but they're going to make us feel really good as well mentally. So a lot of the time I used to reach for easy fast food things if I was feeling crappy. So I would go, and if I was feeling depressed or down, I would literally go to the drive-thru at McDonald's, get a Big Mac, get chips, get all of those things to try and fill me up and make me feel good. But now I've replaced that with other foods that are my feel-good foods. So like really beautiful curries and nourishing casseroles and things with those kind of stodgier sort of root vegetables. So I would still look at eating more things like kumara, parsnips, carrots, rather than potatoes, just because potatoes don't have a lot of nutrition and they quite quickly turn into sugar in our blood. So those root vegetables are so grounding and nourishing, and they're my now go-to feel-good foods. And they're not only making me feel good, but they're also really nourishing my body. Thinking about having those foods for comfort factor, as well as boosting our immunity, and adding in the oils and the herbs and the spices and all of the colorful foods is really going to enhance our immune system. So we're already 2 minutes over time. So I am going to open you all up, unmute you. So please, if you have any questions, comments, etc., if you could just all chip in and, please talk to us, maybe one at a time. If anybody has any questions. Anne, I'd love you to start if you've got anything to say.
No, I'm just, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of these things I'm doing already because I've got a few more years on you guys, but it's just really interesting to be able to use the oils, I think, in so many different ways. So I'm new.
Awesome.
This is all good. Yeah, it's great.
Where are you based, Anne?
I'm right near the pointy thing in the centre of town.
Oh, wow, cool.
So I'm looking out onto the purple tower now.
Oh, wow. So are you feeling a little bit crammed up in there?
Oh, we've got a balcony, so it's thankfully, which I've got, I've had my herbs outside, but I brought them in because, there's just too much. Well, it wouldn't be too bad now because there's not so much diesel in the air, but the buses are still flying past. So I'm just protecting them inside. But to be able to have that, the use of the oils in the food and just at that last bit, because I'm a FODMAP sensitive person, so a lot of the garlic and the onion that provides flavour and for a lot of people, and
Yeah,
also prebiotics they don't work for me.
no.
So the oils will be great. Yeah,
that's awesome. So you can find different ways to get this flavonoid.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Yes, yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Anne, and thank you for joining us.
No, thank you. This is wonderful.
Sarah, how are you going?
I'll see if I can see if the video will work. Yeah, I've got Claire as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oil, so exciting.
Oh yeah, we've been looking at our little oil pack as you've been speaking.
Awesome.
One thing, so everything sounds very interesting and super beneficial, but I guess one thing that I think I would find useful is almost like a list of, like, you've never used this stuff before, here's 10 things to try, because I'm like, goodness me, there's like hundreds of combinations of things to do. Yeah. So yeah, that's the one thing that I think I would find helpful just to get started.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, you girls have both signed up to Oil Camp.
Yes.
Those things every day you will learn one of those oils each day. You'll learn the physical and the mental aspects of them, or the emotional aspects, and how to use them, and will actually make you open them and use it every day. So
cool. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's the next step for you guys, because it is quite overwhelming, like listening to all of these things and how to use them all. But that really takes it back to the basics, and just we'll work through one oil each day so you can really kind of, get intimate with each oil.
Great.
Sounds very good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Thank you. That was really interesting. Thanks both.
No problem. Donna, how are you going?
I'm fine. Yep, absorbing everything.
Awesome. Have you got any questions or comments or?
No, just listening and writing flat out.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Catherine, how are you going?
Hi, sorry I was late.
Okay.
I'm good. So yeah, I can't wait for the camp oil. Or oil camp. So yeah, because now I finally have my first kit, and I have already started using the oil. So we use lots of On Guard recently, and lemon as well, peppermint. I mean, yeah, actually I use all of them. So yeah.
Awesome. That's so exciting. One thing I wanted to mention to you after seeing your Instagram post the other day, just be aware of not diffusing tea tree oil around your cat. Because
yeah, no, I don't really like the smell of it, so I just use it for like some scratches, cat scratches, but it's on my skin.
Yeah. So
we don't diffuse the tea tree oil. Thank you.
Tea tree oil is one of the only ones that you can sort of use around the animals. So I just wanted to suggest that as I saw your pussycat playing the piano.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks so much, Catherine. Has anybody else got anything to add? Laura or Ashley?
No, I'm all right. It was just really interesting, and I use all my oils.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll send out an email afterwards with all of these little, probably tomorrow actually, with all of these little tips. Is everybody here in the Essentialists Facebook group? If you're not, get in there, because we'll put this video up in there so that you can see it. Laura, do you have anything that you want to ask or talk about?
No, but I did just what you said about the tea tree around the animals. Could you go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, their little bodies can't break it down the way that we can. So they can actually have a negative effect on their liver. Yeah, so I mean, usually it's okay if the animal can escape. They won't like the smell of it and they'll run away. But if they're locked in a room, you just should never have oils diffusing when animals can't get away. But yeah, just specifically tea tree oil isn't something that you should really be using around animals. Instead, I would use geranium and cedarwood is amazing for keeping little fleas off little pussycats. And I know that we're all at home at the moment, and our animals are probably the most important things to us before our children and our husbands. So we need to look after them because we need all of the cuddling love from our animals as possible. So yeah, there are some amazing oils that you can use to look after them, and yeah, but we just have to be aware that tea tree is one that's not good for them.
Cool, good to know, thanks.
No props.
There's just one little thing I was going to say is that just thinking about stress and immunity as well as it's really nice to be here because being part of a community helps with your stress and immunity as well. And just even listening to people that maybe are using things in the same way or learning how to use things in ways that I haven't used them before, even if I've had oils for quite some time. Just it's almost like an oxytocin of just having people around you that are
like-minded and friends. Like we're all friends and the essentialists, so it's so nice to I need you guys. I needed you guys to be on here tonight. I have been walking around all day in my togs, so I had to have a bath and put some makeup on and put some real clothes on to feel like a real human. And now I feel like I've got my family here. No, my actual family's on there. No. But I totally get what you're saying, Ingrid. I just feel so much better right now. My vibration is just so much higher, and I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I think you need to show everyone your shoes at this particular day.
Wait, can you actually? I don't even know where I am. I can't. I'm not here. Oh, wait. Can you see my shoes?
No, you need to lift your...
Put your foot in the air. It's actually funny that you say that because I haven't worn apart from wearing shorts and a t-shirt for the last my pajamas for the last 2.5 weeks. I was on Buffy's I saw her story today, and she looks so beautiful in her gorgeous little onesie and with this beautiful makeup. I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks so beautiful. I thought, I should probably yes, you are sitting in your own isolated space, but you can do little things for yourself that will make you place more value on yourself, right? And that helps with your stress and immunity as well. So,
definitely.
Smelling oils and then diffusers and stuff.
I know, and it's just like a little present or a little gift that you can give to yourself is just filling up the diffuser and putting something in it yummy. Even having a little Google, a little play, and finding a new combination for the diffuser that you haven't thought of before. So not yesterday but the day before, Ron and I were having a little bit of a sulk because we can't move up to Matakana. We thought we'd be at the beach this weekend, and we thought we'd be in the farm, and so he Googled some diffuser recipe. I think it was called salt spray or something to do with the beach, and we brought the smell of the beach to our house. So that's another great thing to do is putting some beautiful things in the diffuser that can really uplift our mood and make us feel good. I
bottled Joy yesterday, and I sent the recipe to Buffy, and I said, I found out how to bottle Joy today. And so I sent it to her, and I said, you need to try it, because if you have it for yourself and you don't share it with someone, then you're like, well, is it really my bottled joy? But then when you get someone else to share it with you, it's kind of like sunshine just kind of sparkles everywhere. So.
Totally. And I can't even find it, but my favorite blend is Citrus Bliss. And I think it's called the Joyful Blend or something. Is that right? No, that's Elevation.
Elevation, yeah. I think something like the
I don't know, but I think it's like sunshine in a bottle. So
yeah,
when I wake up in the morning, I have actually like literally a diffuser in every bedroom, every room in my house. And I go around and like water my plants and I water my diffusers. So I just have a bottle of water beside each diffuser and I put in about 3 or 4 drops into each diffuser. And this is one of my favorites right here. So pretty. And that is just such a great way to set the mood for me. Another little thing that I am doing at the moment is obviously packing to move house. So going through all of the stuff in my house that no longer serves me and getting rid of all the clutter and the crap. And cleaning and just making everything fresh, and just having the oils on hand to do that with me is so nice. So obviously On Guard's a biggie, but lemon, like what the heck, it's like the most undervalued friggin' oil that there is. So I have been making up my On Guard cleaner concentrate spray bottles, but then adding like 30 drops of lemon, and my house smells amazing, and like wiping all the walls and everything in my house. This whole house is white inside, and it takes off all of the you know, little sticky fingerprints and everything off all of the walls. So that's been a real little exercise of joy for me as well.
Does it to the bottles too? If you pulled the labels off your bottles and it's all sticky on the outside, if you get a couple of drops of lemon oil, rub it all over the bottle. And I went on like a citrus massive overload yesterday. I was like, okay, I just need like citrus to the max. But I tell you what, any kind of citrus oil, if you put it in a diffuser, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And it feels clean. Lemongrass is like
so fresh and so beautiful.
So nice.
And can I ask, when you're talking about putting On Guard to make like house cleaning products and lemon and stuff, is the sort of antibacterial or cleaning ability like on par to the sort of stuff you get in the supermarket, or?
Yeah, it is. It's like the On Guard, for instance, On Guard cleaner is, because of its antioxidant, antiviral, antibacterial blend that it is like 99.9% effective. So it's like as effective as say bleach, but it's more beneficial for us because it's not going to kill the good bacteria. So if we spray it on our skin, for instance, our whole body is made up of trillions of bacteria, and we have a balance of good and bad on our skin and our gut, everywhere. And if we use products that damage or break down the good bacteria, or in the gut we've got the good bacteria, but we've also got like these tiny little hairs that are called villi, that help us absorb nutrients into our bodies. Those cleaning those harsh toxic chemicals can really damage those as well. So it's not only effective, but it is really protective as well, and doesn't break.
And it smells, I imagine, I haven't opened it yet, way better than bleach.
Please,
sounds amazing.
Please open it right now and take a sniff. It's so delicious.
I'm going to.
Come on, do it.
I'm doing it. I've been trying to resist the urge of like opening every single one and smelling them straight away, trying to drag it out.
No, do
but
it.
We will do this one.
Smell them all.
Because how long do they last? Once they're opened, how long do they all last?
As long as you keep them out of sunshine, and keep the lid closed. So because they're very volatile, they can evaporate quite quickly. So you need to keep the lid on properly, and you need to keep them out of direct sunlight, and they will literally last forever. Like I've opened tubes that have essential oils in them, and they're still going strong hundreds of years later, because of the chemical makeup of them, the antiviral, antibacterial components, that they basically protect themselves, so they'll stay around forever. But yeah, there are some that are more volatile than others. So for instance, I had a little bit of heliochrysum, which is very expensive, very precious oil, and I left it open, and it literally just gone. So don't do that. Yeah, and same with manuka oil. So I've done the same with my manuka oil, which is like one of the most beautiful, healing, delicious oils. It's like tea tree for rich people. And I was using it when I was heavily pregnant, and I was rubbing it on my belly. It's really good for, I get really bad stretch marks, so it's really good for helping with healing and everything. And I left it beside my bed, and I woke up the next morning and it was gone.
Gosh.
So don't do that. So yeah, if you keep them out of the sunlight and you keep them closed, they should last for a long time. And those little bottles that you've got there, there are about 80 drops in each bottle, so that's like 80 doses, so they go a long way. They last
Yeah. And I do actually, we tried peppermint today, and it was like just rubbing it in your hands, and I smelt it in the bottle, and I was like, okay, that smells a bit like polos. I don't know if you have polos in New Zealand, but it smells a bit like polos and mint. And then I put it on my hands, and I was like, whoa,
yeah,
that was
literally
so
blows your brain.
Yeah. And is there like a limit? Like, should you just have a few breaths, or like if you I felt like, is it okay to keep breathing? This is so powerful.
Because you keep smelling it for like 10-15 minutes afterwards, like in
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You probably haven't been breathing enough, you know, working busy jobs and traveling and all of those things. One drop is not going to be too much, so just keep belly breathing, just like Brian tells us, right down to our bellies. So no, but man, it's effective. Just don't get it in your eyes. And if you do get it in your eyes, get some oil or even milk and wash it out. So it needs to be like a fatty substance to so putting water to wash it isn't going to do any good. So getting a fractionated coconut oil or any sort of oil is going to dilute it out. Or if you are really worried and you're beside the refrigerator and you've got nothing else, put milk in your eye.
Good to know.
Yeah, thank you.
No probs. Awesome, guys. I'm going to wrap this up because the new season of Ozark has just come out, and I need to...
That could be where my husband is.
I just want to thank Buffy Gill for being friggin' amazing as always. And yeah, just thank you so much. You're just an absolute wealth of knowledge, and you offer so much to this community. It's amazing what you put into us, even though you've got those two little rugrats always jumping all over you. Hi, T-Rex. Hi, Mila. Say hi to everybody.
Hi. It's your chance.
So thanks so much, guys. And we'll post this up, and Buffy will send an email out to you tomorrow with all these beautiful links. And I will send an email out to my beautiful woman as well. But if you're not in the Essentialists, please get in there, because all of this good stuff gets put in there every day. And also, if you haven't joined us yet for Oil Camp, we've got the next one starting on the 13th of April, which is the day after Easter Sunday. So it's going to be like a rebirth. It's going to be amazing. But we'll see you all next Wednesday. We have got the most amazing, beautiful, enlightening, wonderful speaker called Marique Knight. She's a health coach, and she's going to talk about the 5 essentials for health. So that will be amazing. You 3 look so damn delicious. I want to bite you. Cool. Have a good night, guys. Have you got anything to say, Buff? Look at you. Big hugs, Mila and Kiki.
No, just thank you so much, ladies, for dialing in and spending your evening with us as well. You know, so it would, like, this community would be nothing if it was just Amy and I chatting to each other. Well, we do that too. But you know, so really, we really appreciate and value your time and the fact that you are, you know, you're interested in caring about your health and your family's health in a natural way. And so, and however we can help you with that, that's like our life calling. So probably keep doing it till the day we die. Hands.
Yeah, totally. Cool, thanks guys so much, and thank you all so much for showing your faces and talking to us and asking questions and, you know, commenting, because it makes it so much more fun for us. Yeah, cool.
Right. Good night. Take care.
Thank you.
We'll see
Good
you soon.
night.